Well, it did seem to have rained, but it's not raining anymore. So I'm going to take that oil filter at me to Tractor Supply Company and get my replacement. And I'm going to flush it out with some oil that is the wrong oil just because I have it and I'll never use it. And, you know, put some oil in it, crank the motor over a few times. And then I will, window filter, and then I'll let it drain back out. And I will put good oil in it. I'm glad I decided to crank the engine over with flushing it because we got oil coming out of the oil filter thing that looks disgusting. I'm going to put that plug back in and fill it up again and just try letting it flush through its oil self-lubrication system. Well, that's definitely a interesting thing. I guess it didn't like the lack of an air filter. Nope, I got caught by the compression. See, it was so intense it ripped the rope in half out of my hands. And that hurt, by the way. I almost had a really easy solution, but it's all so far to the left I'll never hit it. If it was that far to the right, it wouldn't be a problem. Well, problem solved. Now I can just put it on there and be like, start it and go, oh, now I have a gas pedal. It'll be great. I've decided I don't like how this feels, so I'm going to try breaking it off and putting it back on. At a 45-degree angle like this to drop the height, because my foot has to be cocked like this because of how high up this is. Let you see my imperfections. I have a cable, didn't have the right end, so I cut it, and I got these things at Tractor Supply for making steel cables, and got the spring we're going to wrap over here. And I'm going to put this over here, and if this works right, then I'm probably going to put another spring on one of these hooks and put it to here, so there's no play in the system like I did on Dinky. Alright, so that's set up, and I just got to do a little weld to put this socket on here so it don't move around. And this is full throttle lock. This thing doesn't hinge as much as I'd like. In fact, if I was less lazy, I would put something on here to extend this out so I can get more throttle movement. I know somebody in the all-terrain lawn tractor forum wanted this motor. If you can get it off, you can have it. I'm actually going to pull this arm off here so I can weld it on the other thing. I know the guy who wanted it has parts, and yeah, right now this thing isn't running and it's got parts I want, so I'm taking them. It's welded good, but I have my welder on both settings on high, and I thought I had on low, and I just integrated the spring as well as making sloppy welds. Throttle setup revision B. Much better. Looks a little ridiculous, but you know what? We're gonna see if we can get this thing to start without the governor. We're gonna do what we do with Dinky in this situation. Give it a little gas. freaking little pulley here is hitting this. That ought to make that problem less noticeable. Okay, so this cable needs tied up and we're definitely having issues. I'm gonna mess around with this for a bit. Well, I think we'll be ready to take a trip to Tractor Supply soon and grab a handful of bolts to use for my thing, but I have a little bit of a stall out problem, it seems. If you see that metallic stuff in my hands, that's actually for me touching the cat, because there was a thick sludge of glittery metal, mud, grease, slime, sludge. Oh my god, the oil's terrible in here. There's a brake. There's old friction material. Here's a band. I'm just going to leave that caked up stuff on there. That's just going to be more stuff for the JB Weld to grip. I'll try getting some of that mud off though. You guys ought to know where this is going to go. So it was really hard to get on. I know I probably should have clamped it down with a bunch of vice grips or something. I only have one pair, and I was going to try using these, but these ain't strong enough. That's a really stiff material that had to be bent flat. But you know what would clamp it down? Installing it, because it literally is a clamp. Yeah. So yeah, that'll work right there. It's clamped. I'm also going to adjust the brakes, because right now I can't even push the clutch in, because this pad material I think is actually thicker than it's supposed to be to begin with. But I'm going to set it so the brakes don't push in until the clutch is at least halfway down, so I can use the clutch without using the brakes. I love everything about this Ford. There's nothing about this Ford that pisses me off. To get to the transmission to fill the oil, I take that bolt out. That hole goes right into the transmission. All I have to do is just clear my crap out of the seat. That is great. I can change the oil without taking anything apart. Yeah, try that in a modern non-tractor. I bought cheapo oil too, but I bought this because I wanted a container, so I could do that. I don't know if that's refilling or not, but I wasn't really getting oil in there. I was mostly just spilling it everywhere. So I'm just going to take the shifter off and put my oil in that way. Well, at least the transmission doesn't look destroyed from this point of view. The way that oil came out was pretty scary. Alright, so I've got my brakes clamped extra hard with a pair of vice grips now, and I've loosened up the brakes as far as I can over here. This thing is going to be horrible to drive until everything breaks in. I should not have done the brakes while I'm trying to break in the belt, because now I'm going to be trying to break in the brakes and the belt, which means the brakes and the belt are both going to be trying to drive the tractor at the same time now. That's not going to be fun. Looking back on it, what I wish I really did was just pull that friction material off, then JB Weld the original friction material back on, just because it would, the JB Weld would act as a spacer and I'd get more life out of the same brake with similar functionality to how it should have functioned when I got it. It wouldn't be a permanent solution, but it would get me through the belt breaking in. Too little, too late. We're going to just have to see how this works.